I mean, to me, you're more looking for someone to step in for Cooper Rush if something were to happen. So, but I mean, Leary's not the answer, and maybe they can sneak him through and put him on the practice squad, cut him, and then re-sign him if they see something. But I don't know. I don't see it all being that big of a deal down the road anyway. So, okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on the Ravens?
No, not particularly. We were just talking off air. It's just one of those times a year where you're just trying to wade through this. Obviously, there's minor moves that happen here and there, but just kind of chomping at the bit to get to the regular season. As you get to the middle of August, just on your knees, praying that we stay healthy until the first snap against the Bills. So I think that's where we're at right now as Ravens fans. Obviously, we'll keep everybody up to date if something crazy happens at camp or if there's something awesome that goes on, or maybe an extension would be nice, like a Lamar or a Linderbaum or something like that. But we'll keep you guys up to date on what's going on in the Ravens.
Yeah, it's funny because with those extensions, I mean, those would be done out of just relief for cap and relief for allowing them to be able to maybe move a couple things, make a trade deadline deal, something like that, where it's completely different than like with the Orioles. Because if you think about it, it's like the Ravens, they sign their guys. They always sign their guys. Like, when was the last time you're like, oh, the only time I could think where I was like, oh, they should have signed that guy was Matthew Judon. That's the only time where I was like, okay, they probably should have done that. Or maybe, who's the other guy? Zaire Smith. Um, those were the ones that like you lost that you were like, oh no, that we should have done that. But switching to the Orioles, that's where it's like, okay, are we going to sign our guys or what? So whole different ball game there. But yeah, the O's, I guess since we last talked, they've only played one game. They did lose the game last night in a pitcher's duel, 1-0, to George Kirby and the Seattle Mariners. So I am right on where I need to be with my 1-5 prediction. So we'll see. They might go 0-6, Mike. Who knows?
Hey, Trevor Rogers is on the bump today, so you're saying there's a chance.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely. There's gonna be another pitcher's duel. I mean, Seattle made these moves to bring in these guys. Offensively to give them a spark, and it's 1-0 win yesterday. They only needed one though, so we'll see how the rest of that series goes. Did anything? I mean, Dean Kramer, man, that's the one thing
Yeah.
I could take away from this game. Holy mackerel! He's just been solid for them all year long. Like, I think in a perfect situation, you want Dean as your 4, maybe a 3 in some instances. But to me, a 3 or 4 guy, probably on the 4 end, is Mike. They can add around him in the offseason. Trevor Rogers, Dean Kramer, Kyle Bradish. Now all of a sudden, it doesn't look quite as bleak.
Yeah, no, I think he was the number one shining star yesterday. 8 innings pitched. It's been a long time since he's given you 8 innings, 6 strikeouts. I think he had 1 walk, but just he looked like he was in command. And he has quietly put together a nice season. He's at a 4.17 ERA right now. If you told me that Dean Kramer was going to pitch to 4.17 this year, I'd tell you I thought we were clearly going to be a playoff team, but obviously wouldn't know all the other factors that went on with the pitching staff and the team this year to be the season that has become. I think the other takeaway is just another shutout. I think it's our 13th shutout of the season. I mean, think about 13 shutouts and that number. 3 more shutouts, and we're at like 10% of our games this year getting shut out. That's just not good baseball. Especially when you thought that going into the season, the offense was going to be the strength of the team. Obviously, the team that we're playing with right now in mid-August isn't anywhere near the team we thought we would have going into April. But, just to say you can't even scrape together more than 5 hits and can't get 1 run across the board, it's just an embarrassment, obviously. But when you're like you said, you're rolling out there with Greg Allen and Jordan Adams and Dylan Carlson, and you're hoping that they produce in your lineup, I'm not sure the expectation of winning should be there necessarily, especially against the Seattle team in particular that's won 8 in a row. and they're gearing up for the playoffs. They just had two major, shots in the arm when you get guys like Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. Those are huge boosts to your lineup, and they've always pitched well, and now they can hit the ball a bit. So, those pitchers' duels are going to start to roll a little bit more their way when they have the ability to get guys on base and do a little bit more with their lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's like that's definitely a good looking lineup for the postseason with what they already have there with Cal Raleigh and Rosarina and the rest of those guys there. But they're still not. I mean, they're not the 27 Yankees. It's scoring one run, and George Kirby's good. I mean, real good. But this year he hasn't been that good. So I don't know. It's still what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. It just sucks having these guys you've never heard of out there playing. I guess we're at the 13th now. After the 15th, then it would be okay to bring up Beavers, bring up Basayo, and kind of, at least for the last month and a half of the season or whatever, at least give fans a reason to go to the ballpark. Because right now, I mean, it's hard to, if I have something else going, I'm not even turning the TV on. So to me, Mike, I would say they maybe bring a little excitement in here.
Damn. Got to bring up Beavers. You know what I'm saying? Because they build a dam. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Oh, my God. So
no, bad. I think having the young guys up at least give you something to tune into. These guys who are journeyman minor league guys who are kind of just still trying to scratch the surface, and Elias is trying to resurrect what's left of their potential prospectness. Is very interesting to see if any of those guys will stick, but it's not something worth tuning in for every night. I'm just more so looking right now, watching the games. Will Colton Cowser come around? Will he come out of his slump? Will Westberg get a little more consistent? Is Gunnar and Adley, are they going to get their power bats back? It's not about, obviously they started to hit the ball a little bit better, but they're not hitting it over the fence nearly as much as they did over the last couple seasons. So when I tune in, I'm looking for that. I'm looking to see if Trevor Rogers can continue the success that he's had over 10 plus starts now. Can one of these other starting rotation arms become solidified for next year's rotation? Is it a Cade Povich? Brandon Young, I'm not so sure. I don't love what I'm seeing from Brandon Young, but again, he's a young pitcher. We had Jake Arrieta years ago. He was up and down, right? So, and he became an NL Cy Young winner. So I think you just got to be a little bit patient and gives opportunities for these guys to show what they can do. Jason, did you have anything before? I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind, if I can roll through.
Yeah, before that, I just wanted to touch on real quick the bad news. Like, even the 1-0 loss was bad, but even worse, Zach Eflin and then Batista, both of them were put on season-ending IL. Eflin, I guess, is going to have back surgery, which I guess could be the cause of a lot of his issues this year. I don't know how long that's been going on. Maybe it was the mattress, Mike, the mattress in Sarasota at the beach house. It could have been.
Oh boy.
But
he's not having front surgery. You know what I'm saying?
God. But to me, the worst news could have been like Felix Bautista and having a significant, quote unquote, according to the beat writers, significant shoulder injury. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean he has surgery in the offseason? Does that mean he heals during the offseason? Or does that mean he misses the entire 2026 season? Oh, boy.
That's scary. Is it like a rotator cuff tear? Like that kind of stuff is like major. We're talking like we're going to not see Felix till 2027. So like that's almost 2 seasons you miss plus without Felix Bautista here. You already lost most of your bullpen at the trade deadline. So it's kind of talk about, bleak over there with Shedeur. It's a little bleak looking in the Orioles bullpen right now as well. So it's kind of scary. So what I have for you, Jason, real quick, is just some rapid fire questions about the Orioles. And I'm just going to run through them pretty quick. I'll let you shoot your 2 cents out there. I'll give mine. We'll just quickly move to the next question. It doesn't have to be, a crazy long answer, but I'm just curious about a couple things. Number one, Of the core players that the Orioles have right now, and mainly the ones who are playing right now, if you had to move on from one of those players, move on meaning not continue with them, either trade them or release them or whatever that might look like, who would it be?
Adley Rutschman.
Okay. Give me a one sentence reason.
Because I think there could be some issues there that might not be solvable to the point of what everyone thought he was. I mean, I still think he could be a very good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want them to move on from him, but I mean, Colton Cowser, so young. I mean, he's barely played one full season in Major League Baseball. I'd like to see more. Gunnar Henderson, MVP candidate. Jordan Westberg, you saw what happened to the team offensively when he's not in the lineup. And then Holiday, I mean, he could be the brightest of all of them. So, yeah, to me, if those are my choices, it's Adley Rutschman for me. I just don't. I don't know if they will be signing a catcher to a big contract anyway, and they may move on from him at some point.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Jason. Next question. Does Mike Elias, and I've been listening to a lot of sports talk recently here in Baltimore, and Bob Haney was talking about this on his show. Does Mike Elias have what it takes to fix this mess in the offseason? What is your level of faith in Mike to fix the problems that we had in 2025?
If he wants to work in Major League Baseball as a general manager, it needs to be like a 9 or a 10. What is my faith that he'll do it? I would say a 6.5. And only because he's proven that he can do it at the prospect level. There might not be anybody better in the game at the prospect level. And as far as drafting the right guys, well, that's still, between that and developing the right guys, I just wonder what happens between AAA and about to be brought up to Major League Ball. And then with them trying to win the last couple of years and them like moving guys in and out of the lineup. And it could be screwing them up. It could have screwed up Kjerstad. It could have screwed up Mayo. And now that they get to play, that's the big question, right? Can he figure this out? I'd say it's about a 6.5.
Okay. Now I'm similar, Jason. I think he's capable. If he's too stubborn to move on from his particular ways, we'll find that out in the offseason. But I would give him a 7. That's where I was going to go, a 7. I think he knows what's on the line. Like, he's very good at developing players and drafting players, and he's very good at finding value. But at some point, you have to not look always at a value decision. It can't always be a high value decision. Like when it comes to, having to make a deal that doesn't always make sense for the team fiscally, like 100% sense, if it makes sense to you. Like I have to sometime pay a little bit more, even though it doesn't feel like I should based on what value looks like, just because that's what the market says. And I'm worried that he may or may not do that with free agents. So,
I know
that's
supposed to be rapid fire, but I mean, just to get on top of that a little more, it's not about even him just spending money. I mean, the Orioles spent money. It's, can you spend money? And I'm beating the desk when I say this. Can you spend money with the pennant chasers? Can you spend money and outspend, or at least smartly spend, against the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Padres? Well, not the Padres financially, but teams like that, even the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, can you go in there and get the right players and not just say, okay, well, no one else wants Shigano, so we'll give him $14 million, or Charlie Morton's out there, we'll give him $15 million. That's spending money, but it's not spending money the right way.
Well, I think of it like this, Jason, and obviously we're couch GMs, which means we're not making any money saying these things. But I think if you think about fantasy football and the dynasty, how we play dynasty, it's like you're always looking for young players because they have value, and you want to make sure you have the next young and up-and-coming player. And I think the Orioles are in that mold when it comes to how they draft and how they run their organization. But at some point, you need that Devontae Adams who's 34 years old, but who can still give you a 1,500-yard season and has the leadership and intangibles to take your team over the top when it comes to football. And you need to add the right veteran players. And that's what I'm looking to see in the offseason.
Right. Like if you're ready to win, you need to have those veteran players. It doesn't make sense to hold on to veteran players when you're still rebuilding, but we're way past that. We're out of the rebuilding phase and we're trying to win now.
And that's not always the best value if you were looking for 2029, but it is for this season. Why haven't we seen any extensions?
Good question. I think the real it's kind of a two-parter. I think it had something to do with the Angelos regime / new ownership taking over, kind of being caught in between there, / them wanting to see if the players are going to be worth extending right away. Not everybody are the Boston Red Sox who are out there and that we're giving extensions to guys that either haven't been in the major leagues or are about to be in the major leagues. The Braves did it years ago. They kind of started this whole thing. And now the Red Sox are doing it with Rafaela, and they just did it with Roman Anthony. What extension but theoretically, outside of Gunnar, and I'm going to throw a rapid fire question at you. Outside of Gunnar, who do you want to extend? Like, who has proven that they can stay healthy enough and produce at a consistent level that you want to extend right now?
Jackson Holiday is who I would extend if it wasn't Gunnar. But Gunnar is the answer to that question. That's the kind of guy around baseball who's getting the deal. Now, it doesn't always work out. Like, I don't know that the Mariners and Julio Rodriguez, I still think the jury's out on that one, right? But like, you got these other young guys like Bobby Witt who got the early extension. That's panned out pretty well. And I think it's just that, are you willing to take a little bit of risk again? And Elias has always tried to stay a little bit risk averse. Like, he doesn't like to go into risk when he doesn't have to. So that's what you're seeing. But the problem is, at some point you bump up against, I'm 2-3 years away from free agency, and my agent's telling me just to ride it out at that point because I need to go get my payday when I have the opportunity. Because in baseball, you got to get that payday because there's so many arbitration years, and it's a drawn out process. It's so much different than like in the NFL.
Right. And I do think part of it is with Gunnar specifically, like, they're trying to figure out what his value is. Is it Gunnar, the MVP candidate, or is it Gunnar, the very solid above average Major League Baseball player? What is it? So what do you pay? Like, you never want to, you don't want to pay him $400 million if all you're getting is 25 home runs, 10 stolen bases, and a 280 batting average. Holy crap. Then what happens to your franchise? So if he's going to hit 35 to 40 home runs, bat 280, steal 15 bases, and drive in near 100 runs, give him the money.
And that's the gamble you take, because you've seen the ceiling with him, but now you're going to see it's not going to be that every single year. But there are those guys who do produce at that level year in and year out. So that's what you're looking for, Jason, is that level of consistency. All right, I have a couple of questions about players particularly. What do we do with the following players in the offseason? Zach Eflin.
I would extend Zach Eflin.
Do you give him a qualifying offer?
I think you talk to him and find out. You got to wait and see what his injuries risk is right now. I would, because what's the qualifying offer for a starting pitcher?
He's like 22, I think it's something like that.
Sure. You can give him the qualifying offer, or you could say, hey, would you want to come on for 2 years at $15 million a year or $18 million a year? To me, he's worth it. Or one with an option, something along those lines. Plus, if you give him another year like that, he makes it more attractive. Say this happens again next year, makes it more attractive during the trade deadline.
I think maybe you can get a little discount on the fact that he's been injured, 3 times this season. Maybe you can get a little bit of a hometown discount with that piece, and where other teams might not know as much about the medicals or be willing to sign him. But if you can do that now, I'd love to see them think about doing that before the season's over. But we'll see what that looks like. How about Tyler O'Neill? I know he's obviously under team control probably for the next 2 years. What's your thoughts on him?
I think with Tyler O'Neill, it's you just have to eat it. Like no one's going to take that. Now, if he starts the year off hot and he hits and next year hits like 8 to 10 home runs in the first month and a half, yeah, then you can try to deal him unless he's a really key part of your lineup, depending on what other moves they make. But I think you have to eat that, and you just have to pencil him in as hopefully someone that's healthy can stay on your team.
How about Ryan Mountcastle?
I think Ryan Mountcastle gets traded between once the trade deadline, you can start trading players again, and the start of spring training. I think they could potentially have a logjam at first base with different options. Again, trying to have like a Basayo.
I thought Beavers played the outfield, so that logjam should be related to him, right?
Well, he's helping build the dam. He helped.
Damn.
So yeah, I would, I would trade him. And I do think that is what they're going to do. Unfortunately, there might not be much of a market for him. So hopefully he finishes the year strong so that there is a market for him.
I always thought Seattle would have been like that perfect spot for him. And now obviously they've moved on but maybe in the offseason, those guys are free agents. They have an opportunity to explore what that might look like. Right. And the intriguing part about Mountcastle is obviously the fact that his defense has come up to almost Gold Glove caliber, where I think that's a big part of his value now. All right. So next question. Mike Elias has taken a lot of little lottery tickets here recently on just some random players, I'd say. Which of these O's lottery ticket position players has a real shot for next year's plans to be in the Orioles' plans for next season? I'll give you a list of names. Maybe just give me one or two you think might have an opportunity. Jordan Adams, Ryan Noda, Daniel Johnson, Alex Jackson, Jeremiah Jackson, and Greg Allen.
I think the Jacksons, both of them. I think depending on, even if Basayo is more than likely going to be on this team with Adley next year, but I don't think Basayo is necessarily the backup catcher. He will catch some, but I think his lack of how many games he's caught, plus the fact that they want his bat more than anything, I think Jackson has a real good shot at coming back. I mean, unless they decide to bring Gary Sanchez back, then Jackson doesn't. And I think Jeremiah Jackson, out of all of them, he led in AAA in average hitting. So yeah, I would say he would be the one that would be in the plans out of all those guys.
And we have Jackson Holiday, so that's 3 Jacksons. Can we find 2 more Jacksons to make the Jackson 5? Is the question. Is Austin Jackson still playing? I think he's probably retired.
Jackson Merrill. He could trade for Jackson.
Oh,
Merrill.
There we go. Oh, and Jackson Churio. Let's just do that, and we'll be good to go.
Awesome. You
perfect.
have 4 center fielders. Love it.
Great play.
Nothing will drop ever.
Last question. This has been like mild rapid fire. This is you do not have to think within the framework of this is real logical, but one game-changing player for the offseason, realistic or not, that could really change the trajectory of this Orioles team for next year.
Kyle Tucker. That's really it. If I get here, let me drop this mic here.
How about Aaron Judge? No.
Right. As far as availability and guys that because no one's going to trade their guy that they're organizationally changing player. Kyle Tucker's an organizationally changing player at this point in his career. To me, I think that obviously there's probably a less than 10% or less chance that would happen, but it should be. They should 100% be kicking the tires and finding out how much it's going to cost. But again, is $400 million on one player something that this organization can do? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the question, that's where the question lies with the value. It's like, hey, is whatever it costs to sign him, whatever you value him at, and you're going to have to pay a little bit more for him to come to Baltimore is what my assumption would be. Is the difference in that worth the difference in your season next year? And if it's that much difference besides signing him or finding, two other guys who would help you in different ways. And that's the way Mike Elias is probably going to go about it. But I like that thought, Jason. I think that he would look really good in black and orange room in one of the corner outfield spots. So I hope that's the case. So that's all I got for the Orioles. Is there anything else that you are thinking of? Obviously, they have 2 more games versus the Mariners, tonight and tomorrow, and then they have, where are they? Houston? Is it Houston for 3?
Yes. Well, they're in Baltimore. Houston comes here, I believe. Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to talk about, it's not necessarily Orioles related. I wanted to do kind of a post-trade deadline prediction for the playoffs and World Series. And just, I don't know if anything changed for you. If I remember, you had predicted, did you predict the Phillies or the Dodgers?
I had the Dodgers.
Right. And then out of the American League, you didn't have the Red Sox, did you?
I think it was the Tigers. I think it was Tigers and Dodgers.
We've done this a couple times. So
I know.
Trying to remember on what we did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll be honest. As far as like the Dodgers, to me, could potentially have a big problem. Now, I have all the faith in the world that they can fix it with the brain trust they have out there, but their bullpen's in shambles. And if they don't figure out that back end of the bullpen, that could get quite interesting. I mean, the Yankees are very close to playing themselves out of the playoffs on that end too. So, I mean, the one thing for me, I believe it was Philadelphia and Detroit is what I said. My final one. If I'm just looking at this, it wasn't anyone in the East, wasn't anyone out of the West, and I think it was Philadelphia. But
somebody had the Cubs. I can't remember who it was.
Was that me? I don't know. No. Oh, it was me. It was me. I had the Cubs. No, did I? I don't know. See, this is terrible radio, terrible podcasting. What I think now is I think out of the West, I like San Diego a lot. And I think those moves that they made really kind of made this cohesive unit out there even better. I don't know how they're going to match up pitching wise against some of these other teams. Philadelphia's tough. The Mets are tough. But as far as a team like that, I mean, I really like San Diego to come out of the National League. I mean, Milwaukee, to me, I just, until they do it, I don't have much faith in Milwaukee until they make it to the National League Championship Series. Then I'll start paying attention. And I guess out of the American League, I guess I'll still go with the Tigers. It's kind of boring, but because I think the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are going to make the playoffs. How many teams make the playoffs? Is it 6 or is it 7? Okay, 6. So Blue Jays, Red Sox. I'm going to go with Detroit and Cleveland, and then I'm going to go with the Rangers and the Astros. And I actually like the Rangers a lot if they were to make it. And if you remember at the very beginning of the season, my prediction, like before the season started, when it's just you and I, John was like capsized somewhere out in the Caribbean. I picked the Rangers and the Dodgers. And I've since come off of that clearly, but I like to rewind back to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're 61-60, so they'd have to go on quite a little bit of a tear here to end the year.
I mean, they're still in wild card territory, though.
They're in striking distance of the wild card for sure. Because I think if you look at the wild card standings, the Yankees are 64-56, so they're only 3.5 back of the last wild card spot. So I'm not saying it's not possible, but they are just one game over 500 as far as their ability is concerned currently.
Yeah, and I think the Yankees play themselves out. I don't think their pitching is strong enough. So yeah, I think Texas either leapfrogs Cleveland or New York. And I'd also watch Kansas City. If Kansas City goes on any sort of a streak, they could sneak in there as well.
And they're currently sitting 4 games out of a wild card, so they're in striking distance as well. For me, Jason, I'm looking at the American League, and Detroit was the team I've had all year. They were kind of a front runner. They faded. Obviously, they've had a rough stretch. They they've struggled against teams that are better than 500. They're 31 and 32 versus teams that are over 500, which is why I kind of like Toronto and Seattle to make the ALCS, because both of them have really fared well against good teams. Toronto's 38 and 29 against teams that are over the 500 mark. And I really like the balance of their team. I think their pitching staff from top to bottom, there might not be really like a true ace on that staff, but they're all really good. Like, it's kind of like what we want the Orioles to be, a group of 2s and 3s that can kind of get the job done. And I like the way that lineup's created. And you know that Santander is going to come around at some point. You've got Vladdy Jr., Bichette's had a bounce back season. George Springer's looked good again. They have a really nasty lineup top to bottom with some of their young guys as well. And I like what Toronto's doing. And then Seattle, I already talked about them a little bit earlier when we were talking about the Orioles, but I really like what they did, getting some corner infielders to really solidify their starting lineup. And they're on an 8-game winning streak. And I think there's a lot to be said about momentum. So, they have good momentum right here in the middle of August. Can they carry it into September and into the postseason? So I like that. So as far as teams to make the playoffs from the American League, I have, Detroit, Toronto, and Seattle winning their respective divisions. And then I have Houston hanging in there for a wild card spot. I have the Yankees. I think Aaron Judge is going to reinvigorate them over the last maybe 6 weeks of the season, help them get back to at least a place where they can make a wild card run. And then I have Cleveland also. I have Cleveland sneaking in and hopping over Boston to take that last spot. I don't know if you remember, but at the trade deadline, we did an episode, I think it might have been John and I, where we talked about who should be buyers or sellers. And I said Cleveland should be buyers. They turned out to be, I think, more light sellers than anything else. But I think they still have a good core of pitching and players there. You have Jose Ramirez, who's one of the best players in the league. And you have Stephen Kwan who can get on base. And when we play them, I feel like they just play good baseball. They play really, really solid, fundamental baseball. So I like Cleveland to kind of hop into that last wild card spot.
Yeah.
National League. Good, Jason.
No, you're good, man.
I can keep going. All right, I'll do that. National League. Let's go with, I think Seattle is going to come out of the American League. Now that I look at it, I think Seattle is going to beat Toronto in the ALCS, and they'll come out of the American League. When we look at the National League, Milwaukee's on a tear right now. I think if you look at them, similarly, they are 39 and 22. They have the best record against teams above 500 this year. That's a pretty daggone good win percentage against some good ball clubs. They have the best record in the league with a 75 and 44 mark. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Starting pitching's been good. You've got a lot of young players there in Milwaukee, so we'll see if they can make it hold up in the postseason, but I think they win the NL Central. They take it away from the Cubs. I think the Cubs still hang in for a wild card spot. And then I'm with you, Jason. I think San Diego has overtaken LA as the best team in the West. I think LA's just had – sometimes just good teams have a dysfunctional year. Like good talented teams have a dysfunctional year. It seems to have been that kind of for the Dodgers this year. Health has obviously played a role in that a bit too. Ohtani hasn't had his best season. But he's still, a superstar. But it just hasn't been that run away with the division kind of season for the Dodgers. And I think they've allowed San Diego to hang around. And San Diego made some quality moves, getting Laureano, getting Ryan O'Hearn, solidifying their bullpen in the chase for the division. And I think that's going to help them come playoff time. So I like San Diego. I do like LA to hang in and win a wild card spot there. I think they're just too good, too talented to not make the playoffs. And then give me the obviously the Phils in the East, and the Mets get that last wild card spot. Gregory Soto going to be pitching in the late innings sometime in the playoffs. How do you feel about that, Jason?
A little nervous, but
lefty only, hopefully, right?
Right. Oh my God.
So I have Milwaukee and San Diego right now, and then Milwaukee. So I have Milwaukee and Seattle
In the Super Bowl of Major League Baseball?
in the Super Bowl of baseball.
Oh man.
I would love to see some different teams. I think it's a little bit heart related there, but I would love to see some different teams make the World Series.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't actually realize that the Cubs are in second place by 7.5 games. Like, holy mackerel. I mean, Milwaukee's just going on a tear. I mean, they have also won 11 straight games. So, I mean, that helps, Goodness gracious.
They are good at baseball right now.
It would be very exciting to see. Very exciting. Well, speaking of very exciting, Mike, do you want to tell everyone where they can find us?
Sure. For those of you guys out there listening on this lovely Wednesday afternoon, if you find us on live on Facebook Live, you can find us live on YouTube. We are every Wednesday and Sunday. Time varies a bit, but usually it's in the evening. Just so happens to be in the afternoon in the summertime. But just keep an eye out. We'll post any changes and things like that for you all. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, on Amazon Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. Find us on email at dadbodscrabcakesandsports@gmail.com. Send us some ideas. Send us what you're thinking. Join us in our fantasy football quest that Jason will be talking about here in a little bit. I think we're going to have some fun with that. You can find us on Facebook at dadbodscrabcakes and sports. You can find us on X at crabcakes_sports. And John made that up clearly. And then you can find us on Instagram also at dadbodscrabcakes and sports.
Fabulous. Yeah. So please reach out to us, join us. We're about half full now for one league. If we did have a whole bunch of people that were interested, we could create more than one league. But right now, we're about half full in a 12-team league for our first ever fantasy football league, Dad Bods Crab Cakes and Sports. You can find us, like Mike said, on our Facebook page. Just send us a message on Facebook or email us at what's our email? Dadbods Crab Cakes and Sports @gmail.com. All right. Mike, did you want to lead us with our ballpark figures category?
I'd love to, Jason. I love that you're the eternal optimist and that you're saying that we're half full for that league. I love that about you, Jason. That's one of my favorite things because I think we're half empty. We need 6 more people. Who's going to step up and fill those spots? Come on out there, listeners. Join us. We'll have some fun. Ballpark Figures is a baseball segment this week. Jason, I'll try to help you. I do this when John and I are on here by ourselves. Since you're all by yourself, I'm not going to be too firm on the 3-strike policy. I'll help you the best you can. But knowing you, you're going to do very well, I think, today in our Ballpark Figures category. So today's Ballpark Figures, in which you're going to try to figure out the top 10 list currently of Major League Baseball players in WAR, wins above replacement, for the entire season of 2025 thus far. You're going to tell me who the top 10 WAR leaders in MLB are in 2025.
Okay. And I do have my phone in my hand, but I'm not cheating. I actually have to make 2 moves in my fantasy baseball league. Just side note.
If I see you on Fangraphs, though, we'll know.
Fangraphs. Oh, great. Okay. So Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is number 1 in WAR with a 7.2.
Pete Crow Armstrong.
Mr. Crow Armstrong is number 6 with 5.4 wins above replacement.
Shohei Ohtani.
He's good at baseball. 6.6. He's second.
He's good at baseball. Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. If I have to wait this long, he's probably not there. He is not in the top. Let me double check. I don't want to mess you up. I don't want to pull John. He is not in the top 30.
Okay. Let's see who else. Who else is good at baseball? I just don't know why I can't think of any of like the MVP.
Think there's some pitchers and think some breakout players for this year.
So Terrence Skubal.
Tariq Skubal, excuse me, is a 5.5 wins above replacement. He's number 5 on the list.
Zach Wheeler.
Zach, where are you? I don't see.
He's the best pitcher in the National League.
He's at 20. He's 4 wins above replacement.
Oh my goodness! All right. Wait, who else did you said think pitchers and who else?
Think pitchers and breakout from this year. Also think a guy you fell in love with in the preseason, a pitcher.
Garrett Crochet.
Yes, that's the one. He's at number 8. He's at 4.9 wins above replacement. So apparently you were right. We should have signed him. He's pretty good at baseball.
Yes, very good. Oh, sad. All right. Let's see who else.
So
I'm
you
trying. I'm like,
have, I'll buy
go
you some
ahead.
time. So you have number one, Aaron Judge. You have two, Shohei. You have five, Scooble, six, Crow Armstrong, eight, Crochet.
Okay. Oh, let's see. A lot of national leaguers, a lot of American leaguers. What they're trying to
Let's
do
see.
here.
You have two American League, three American League, and two National League
Left.
left.
Okay. Um.
One
Oh,
is a backstop who's having a breakout year.
backstop. Who's doing well at the catcher position? Oh, Cal Raleigh.
Correct. Cal Raleigh is number 3 in WAR with 6.4.
Oh my gosh. Who else is playing? Eh,
There's another pitcher who's pretty good that started the All-Star game.
Oh, Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens is number 9 with 4.7 wins above replacement.
Okay.
Now you're missing a shortstop, two shortstops, and a third baseman.
Two shortstops and a third baseman.
It sounds like a sitcom.
Oh man, that's good because I wouldn't have guessed. I was going to guess a first baseman. So
Starring John Ritter.
Jose Ramirez.
Yes, Jose Ramirez is number 7
Oh,
with a 5.2 wins above replacement.
De La Cruz.
Oh, of the Cruz. Mr. Of the Cruz is 22.
Oh my gosh, that's a load of poopy. What about Bobby Witt?
Yes, Bobby Witt Jr. is number 4 with 5.6 wins above replacement.
And I'm missing a shortstop.
You are missing a shortstop.
A
Yep.
National League shortstop.
Number 10 is a National League shortstop.
Oh, of course, it's the guy. It's number 10.
He had a father who also played in Major League Baseball.
Oh, you said he's in National League though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Wait, is he playing shortstop or is he playing the outfield?
He might be playing the outfield now that I say that.
Tatis.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, that's okay.
He came up.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, he's not playing there anymore. But yes, 4.7 wins above replacement. And you know who? There is another shortstop in the National League who's just behind him. Can you figure out who that is? Number 11.
Number 11, and he is a shortstop. He's an actual
Yeah,
shortstop.
yeah. Sorry about that. Yes,
Okay.
and the Orioles. I really johned that one. The Orioles played this guy recently. He kind of lit him up.
Oh, they lit up the shortstop.
The shortstop lit them up.
In the National League or American League too?
National League.
Okay. Who did we play recently? The Cubs. Who's the Cubs shortstop?
Nope.
I don't even remember. Philly shortstop.
Yep.
Trey Turner.
That is the one. He is number 11 in Major League Baseball, 4.6. Corbin Carroll's 12, 4.6. Geraldo Perdomo for Arizona, 4.5. 13. Jeremy Pena for Houston, 14 at 4.3. And then Kyle Tucker rounds out the top 15 at 4.1 wins above replacement for the Cubs.
Can you explain how WAR is calculated?
Yeah, somebody really smart figures it all out.
Nice. Well done.
I don't know the specifics of WAR, but basically there's offensive and defensive WAR. So, for example, Shohei Ohtani has batting WAR and pitching WAR. So he has 5.8 batting and 0.8 in his pitching. So that definitely helps for him when it comes to wins above replacement. So obviously everybody has a certain value, and certain players play above that certain level at their position where they're getting their teams more wins based on their statistics. And so basically wins above replacement shows that you play this much above that level to add the number of wins to your team.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense.
So
excellent.
Very good, Jason. You got a lot of those. There were a couple that were, I mean, I think there's a lot of players. It gets a little overwhelming when it comes to trying to think of every single player in Major League Baseball. But, you know, the guys who the Skeens, the Scoobles, the Shoheis, the Judges, I mean, those are the superstars. And they're where they belong. They're on the top 10 list.
Fabulous. Yeah, I mean it's like one of the newer, more popular stats out there is WAR. Like, I don't know if GMs take that into consideration when they bring players on. I mean, essentially, like these are the best players, so they'll have the highest WAR. That's kind of how you want to calculate it. Um, okay, well
So
that
if you're looking at the general definition of WAR, it says a
right.
comprehensive baseball statistic that estimates the number of wins a player contributes to their team above what a readily available replacement level player would achieve. You're trying to quantify a player's value by considering aspects of their performance, hitting, base running, fielding, and even positional adjustments. So, how many wins does this player add to their team compared to a hypothetical, easily replaceable player? And it
Right.
includes batting runs, base running runs, fielding runs, positional adjustment, replacement level, runs per win. So, there's a bunch of things that goes into the WAR calculation.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, again, very important stat because I mean, it's players that are going to determine number of victories based on their statistics and their performance. So obviously, the better the player, the more wins you're going to have theoretically. So yes, I like it. Makes sense. I did see before we just kind of switching up here as we finish things up. Before we came on, I saw that the Buffalo Bills signed James Cook to an extension finally. So he will end his sit in, hold out, whatever the hell it is he was doing, to a 4 year, I think it was like $45 million or something, $48 million. So not a huge contract overall. Like he's not going to break the bank as one of the highest paid players, but that's pretty good for a running back. So, all you fantasy players out there, I know I have James Cook in a couple dynasty leagues. You can kind of breeze easily now, as you know that, hey, he's going to be here. So now you don't have to worry about Ray Davis, who I also have in other leagues. So I was excited for a while. But yeah, Mike, I've done a couple mock drafts on the fantasy end of things, and I ended up with towards the end a lot of Ray Davis. And I guess that's going to change the way that things go. I don't do the handcuff thing a lot. Unless I have if I draft McCaffrey, you're damn well I'm taking Garendo if I take McCaffrey, but I don't do the handcuff thing just every day. So to me, kind of should ease everybody's mind as far as who's going to get all the touches.
Well, it definitely eases my mind that you're not using handcuffs every day because that
Oh
would be
my
really awkward.
gosh.
Um, no, but the handcuff thing, I'm with you, Jason. I get the idea behind it. It's but especially if you have two middling running backs that are competing maybe for a starting position, I think that's where a lot of players go. But what you're talking about is like a circumstantial handcuff. For example, is James Cook going to play this year? If he's not going to play at all, and you're drafting Ray Davis, that's not a traditional handcuff situation. Or is it a very injury riddled back like Christian McCaffrey, who's lost a couple seasons recently to injuries, and now you have a very capable backup in Isaac Garenda. So I think you're thinking along the lines of very situationally based handcuffs.
Right. I mean, it's a kind of in case shit type handcuff almost. I mean, it's like Zach Charbonnet in Seattle with Kenneth Walker. I mean, he's been injured in a boot a good portion of the offseason. So you want to roll the dice. I mean, they've been very clear in Seattle that if Walker's healthy, he's playing all the time. So for me, there's much more guys especially when you're going to take these quote unquote handcuff players. There's a lot of upside that you could get later in drafts, and that's where you want to swing if you want to be consistent. So yeah, I told you I was gonna somehow I just
Well,
sneak fantasy talking to all of this.
you mentioned both of my starters for Dynasty, Kenneth Walker. I hope he runs more than he walks, and James Cook, who obviously those are my two starters. So I hope that both those guys are healthy and ready to go now for the regular season. It makes me feel a little bit better that James Cook got signed to that extension. I have a quick question for you, Jason. So I just saw an article came out on ESPN where they were talking about in the NFL. What the floor and ceiling is for each of the NFL teams as far as win-loss records are concerned. And as I went through and looked at basically just the AFC North, the Ravens division, let me just tell you what they have as their predictions for the floor and the ceiling. So let's start with our own Baltimore Ravens. They have the ceiling at 13-4, and the floor at 8-9 as their worst potential record. And their biggest X factor in that is how Tyler Loop would perform in pressure situations. I guess that can decide a couple wins and losses. If you look at the Bengals, they have them at 12-5 as their max ceiling, and they have them at 7-10 as their floor. They talk about how the Bengals defense will play. Obviously, that's going to play a major role in their season. The Cleveland Browns, they have their ceiling at 9-8 and their floor at 4-13, with the offensive line being their biggest key to success. And then finally, the Steelers, ceiling is 11-6. I think that's actually a little bit low for the Steelers considering their schedule, and their floor at 6-11. And they talked about the offensive line in Pittsburgh as well. And obviously a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers needs a solid offensive line. So, maybe talk about what you think of those projections. Is there any misses there? What do you project? Those types of things.
Yeah, I think the Ravens, I think the ceiling's about right. I mean, you could bump it to 14 if you want. I think I predicted them to win 13 games. But as far as ceiling, I mean, you could say 13 or 14. I'm fine. I'm not going to get upset. Now, I will say the floor. I think their floor is 10. Like, I think you can pencil them in for 10 wins unless there's an injury. That's the only thing that's going to, even if Tyler Loop costs them a game or two, I think they're already projected in my mind to win so many games that it'll bring them to 10. If that's going to be their deciding factor. As far as the Bengals, I'm okay with it. As far as the wins with the 12, I mean, I think they might be a little generous with that because their defense is so bad. And you saw it in the preseason game. I think more like maybe 10, 11 wins, and their floor is about right, I would say. Cleveland, yeah, I don't have anything to say about Cleveland. I would agree 100%. They're going to be a
now.
dumpster
Shadour's
fire.
got the oblique injury, John said. So
yeah, very very oblique situation, as Mike says. Very oblique situation.
Hey, Joe Flacco is going to save the day, hon.
Yeah. Well, look, switching back to fantasy, I mean, some of those players are actually, I think, Njoku, and a couple of the receivers, Judy, they'll benefit from having Flacco there over the other guys. So, something to keep an eye on if he's the starter. And as far as Pittsburgh, I've said it here before. I mean, I could very easily. I mean, I think they're going to make the playoffs. So I think their floor is 9 wins, maybe 8. And yeah, if I had to guess, I would say they're going to finish above 500 would be my prediction, unless Aaron Rodgers gets hurt and they don't have anyone else behind him. And then I would say their ceiling is 11 wins, if I had to guess.
So, Ravens at 13-4. I think they could win 14 games. If you're asking, a true ceiling is what their max out would be. So I think their max out number, if everything goes the way it's supposed to and it goes correctly for the Ravens, they can win 14 games, go 14-3. I think they could lose more than 9 games. I mean, I'm disagreeing with you there just because I'm imagining a scenario where Lamar Jackson gets hurt. Let's say Lamar Jackson gets hurt and you're leaning on the running game and the defense. I could see them going 7-10 maybe if that happens. I still think they have enough defense and running game to win 6 or 7 games at least, right? So I'm going to say 7 is their floor. But I do see what you're saying. If Lamar is healthy, how do they not win? How do they not win 10 games? Like, how do you not win 10 games?
If he's injured, Mike, if he's injured and it's a season-ending injury, I mean, I'm throwing the season out. Like, they're not making the playoffs unless they make some sort of trade to bring a starting quarterback again. Like, if they're not.
The Bengals at 12-5 ceiling, I think that's about right. I think, again, they'd have to win some shootouts for that to happen. They would have to improve at least on the rush end of things on the defense. So Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson would have to get after the quarterbacks, and they would have to get out to a lead early in games and then just put those guys down and pin their ears back and get a pass rush. Their floor at 7-10. I'm okay with what they have for the Bengals there. The Browns, 9-8, 4-13. No one cares. The Steelers, I think I said their ceiling's low, 11-6. I could see them winning 13 games potentially just because of their schedule. And if everything breaks right and Rodgers is what he's supposed to be, it kind of reminds me, remember the Steve McNair year for the Ravens, like where you got the veteran quarterback and it really gives you a shot in the arm and it picks your whole team up and it could be that kind of situation in Pittsburgh this year. They've kind of been floundering over the last couple years in mediocrity. So hopefully that shot in the arm for them, not hopefully, for them, hopefully, it can pick up their team. Floor of 6-11, that's probably right. Let's say Aaron Rodgers goes off and pretends to be Aaron Rodgers from the Jets again and has some major issues with some teammates, and there's infighting with him and DK Metcalf, and their defensive players that they brought in aren't what they thought they were going to be, and it's just not exactly the ingredients didn't come together the way that they thought they would in this particular recipe. That could happen for Pittsburgh, and they could go. I could see them going 6-11. So I think it's overall fairly accurate depiction of what the AFC North could look like. But you got to say that Ravens are the favorites at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and it's actually, I mean, it's not just division favorites. It's, are they a Super Bowl contender? Are they a Super Bowl favorite? And I mean, I see no reason why they're not. I think what the problem here is if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, it's like, say you make it to the AFC Championship game and then lose again. Oh boy. Like, even though that is a very successful year, like the Browns would kill to make the AFC Championship game. Like teams like this, we're at the point now where we're like, no, I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust. I mean, I don't want to feel that way, Mike, but that's just reality.
It's an uncomfortable spot to be in because you know how hard it is to make a Super Bowl. I mean, you have to have so many things go right. The problem is they've just had so many opportunities. You think that it's like, probability has to be on their side, but that's not how probability works, right? Every year it resets itself. So it's not like just because you didn't make it so many years, you're going to make it the next year. I mean, but obviously they keep putting themselves in it, and eventually, hopefully it goes the right way, because they're going to be in it every time Lamar Jackson suits up for 17 games. They're going to have a ticket to the dance, and they're going to have a chance to go all the way. It's just a matter of putting the right stretch of games together. I know they talked about on Baltimore Sports Talk this week, Lamar has to have a Flacco-esque playoff run where he just goes and just does ridiculously great things, which he's fully capable of doing for a 4-game stretch, and just carries his team at least into the Super Bowl, if not to Lombardi Trophy. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Like, I mean, what Flacco did was historic, and I don't even know if he has to do that. He just has to he has to limit the turnovers. Like, I mean, how many turnovers did he have in the regular season last year? It was like 4 or 5. Didn't he have 2 in the playoff game? So carry that percentage over from the regular season and just play like that, you'll be successful. But the problem with the Ravens that always gets me, and it's almost like you called me optimistic earlier. I appreciate that, but I'm really not. Like when I watch Ravens get playoff games, I'm waiting for something bad to happen. Last year was the Andrews 2 drops. And then, one was a turnover, one was a drop. So I actually think Lamar had 3 turnovers in that game because of that, whatever the case may be. But it was a fumble. Never mind. Pardon me. So the second one, Zay Flowers against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, fumbling on the goal line. Oh crap. Like, you're waiting for this. And when we're in these close games and we make a mistake, we make big mistakes. So I just I want that feeling to go away.
And I think that's a lot to do. I mean, if you've been a part of a team, it's about visualizing and mindset. So I think and they're on the right track with that. Like, you have to, I know that they really were emphasizing creating turnovers on the defense in training camp. Like, they were awarding points and highlighting those things on the TVs around the facility. And I read a lot about how, creating turnovers is a huge point of emphasis for the Ravens this year. So visualizing these turnovers and seeing these things, when you're in a zone and you're thinking in a positive frame of mind versus thinking in a negative frame of mind, it makes such a difference when you're playing sports. So to reframe these situations and to get rid of the whole concept of, we always make a mistake, we always screw up, we always make the wrong play in the wrong time, you can't think that way, or it's going to continue to perpetuate itself. So to move away from that mindset to a positive mindset, I mean, just think about the game. You've played golf, Jason. We played golf together. If you're thinking about that sand trap over there and that water hazard there and why the green slopes horribly from front to back, and you're trying to hit a shot, you're going to hit it into one of those horrible places. But if you're thinking, I want to put it about 10 feet from the pin, I want to put it to the right so it rolls back down to the left, and then you're going to hit a better shot. It's the whole aim small, miss small concept. But I think the Ravens are trying to focus on creating turnovers and not turning the ball over and visualizing those things for their season.
Yeah, I saw some videos of some clips of Ray Lewis around the team the last week or so. And he actually huddled up with the team, was talking, and that's exactly what he was focusing on, was getting your mind right. And your mind right, he's like, look, I mean, we want to be champions. Like, champions are that's the next logical step here, blah, blah, blah. And he was going through the different mindset and setting all of that. It's like, while we're here, we're working. He goes, we work until, it's like, I would be working until 9:30 at night. And I'd go home and I'd watch video. And it's like, it's just getting your mind and your body right into what you're going to do. So yes, Mike, I agree 100% with that. I mean, it is very exciting. I'm extremely optimistic about the team in general. I hope this is not the year that Derrick Henry finally just falls off. I guess I haven't heard anything as far as starters for this weekend. Have they mentioned anything about any of the regular starters playing this weekend?
I haven't seen too much about what they're going to do on Saturday, correct? I haven't seen too much about what they're going to do on Saturday yet. So I think that will come out as the week progresses. But just to piggyback on what you said about Derrick Henry, even if he takes a step backwards, I'm not super worried about it. I feel like at least he's a great goal line back or a great 4th and 1 back. And you've got some other guys who can do things in the backfield. I mean, it's not ideal, obviously, for him to take a step back in the whole scheme of things, but I don't think it's an end-all be-all for this Ravens team. So even in that situation, they have such great depth. They just need to put it all together.
Yeah, I mean, and I think with like Keaton Mitchell, I mean, whether he's playing a lot or not, I mean, you give him 7-8 snaps a game or touches a game somehow, get him 7 to maybe 6-7 touches. You could also keep Derrick Henry a little fresher. I mean, there's no reason the first couple weeks of the season for him to be running the ball 35 times a game. Let's mix it up. Let's keep everybody fresh, happy, healthy, and go from there. And I mean, Justice Hill, I got nothing but good things to say. I mean, they paid him. He's like the Bateman steal years ago, and they just keep signing him because he blocks well. He plays special teams well. He does everything well. He's not going to show up on the stat line of like 100 yards rushing or receiving, but he's a football player's football player, and you need guys like that. So, well, that's all I got, Mike, on the docket. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on? Anything we're missing?
No, I think we about covered the old Baltimore sports scene for this Wednesday.
I want to see John again. I want to see John's shiny head and I hope anyone listening to this should go to our Facebook page and watch. John showed up in his shirt and tie at work. He looked very pretty. It was nice. I appreciate that.
He dressed up for this episode. Yeah, it was like he dressed up. He was like, it was almost like he was going to prom just to come to the Dad Bods podcast today. So that was kind of John. But let's wrap this puppy up. That's going to do it for this edition of Dad Bods Crab Cakes and Sports. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. Hopefully you can join us for our next episode on Sunday. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, wherever you get your free podcasts. Please give us a like and a review of 5 stars. It helps us out. We're trying to grow our audience and spread the good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Be sure to follow us on social media. We'll post some clips. We'll post some polls and some entertaining things here and there on our Facebook page and our Twitter. You can follow us at dadbods_crabcakes_sports on our Instagram, dadbods crab cakes and sports on our Facebook page, and crabcakes_sports on the old Twitter, or X as you would call it. Got a question or topic you'd like us to cover? Hit us up at dadbodscrabcakesandsports@gmail.com, and we might just be shouting you out on our next episode. But until next time, keep rocking your dad bod, eating those crab cakes, and never miss the game.
Adios.